بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الغر الميامين. My dear brothers and sisters, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم جعل الله الكعبة البيت الحرام قياما للناس وأمنا. As time is nearing for the Hajj season, all our emotions and our attentions is drawn to the very first temple built on earth, and that is the house of Allah in Mecca. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, إِنَّ أَوَّلَ بَيْتٍ وَضِعَ لِلنَّاسِ لَلَّذِي بِبَكَّ. The very first house of worship that was dedicated by Allah for people so they would worship Allah is the one in Mecca or Becca. So tonight I would like to speak about the city of Mecca and how significant it is in our life. Well, let's not forget that each Muslim, whether in the West or in the East, they all direct themselves to Mecca 5 times a day. Every time we stand before Allah to perform our prayers, we turn our face to Mecca. So at least every Muslim is connected with God in Mecca 5 times a day. Every child is born. The first thing we do, the parent will carry the baby toward the Mecca and they recite adhan in his right and left ears. Every person dying, every Muslim dying around the world, once dying, he or she should be directed to Mecca, so when he dies toward Mecca. Every person buried in his grave, he must be turned in a way that his face and his body and his chest is facing Mecca. It seems that Mecca plays a central role in our life. That every time we are connected to Allah, it has to go through Mecca. Why is it so important to be connected to Mecca? Why Mecca is so important to us? According to the Quran, Abraham alayhi salam was the one who was ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to build the Kaaba in Mecca. Before Ibrahim, there was nothing there in Mecca. Nothing at all. It was a desert without any plants, without any trees. Indeed, it is a very scary desert. A very hot valley that rests at least 80 meters below the sea level. It's extremely hot in Mecca. Even if you go in winter, it's hot. And it is treeless place, no river. The geographic terrain is so hard. No rain. No, the water is scarce in Mecca. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders Ibrahim to take his second wife, Hagar, to Mecca. Now let me take you a little bit before. When Ibrahim, who was married to his cousin Sarah, for many years and they never had a child. She did not bear a child. something that was bugging him, hurting him. He was moving toward the end of his life, not having an heir, not having a son would deeply bother Ibrahim. Noticing that he's so bothered with the fact that he didn't have a child, Sarah, who was a good woman. She was his cousin. She asked him to marry her own maid, who happened to be Egyptian, and some other stories says she was Ethiopian or Ethiopian, from Ethiopia. Whether from Egypt or from Ethiopia, she was from Africa. And she was a maid owned by Sarah. Sarah gave her away to Ibrahim so he can marry her, so he may have a child. Now see how God's wisdom works. Everything, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. We may dislike things, but see, out of things that we don't like, out of things that look negative, disturbing, often, good things come out. So when Ibrahim married Hagar, she was pregnant immediately. She got pregnant with her son Ishmael. Now, immediately, the same lady who was asking her husband, begging her husband to marry Hagar, she turned so jealous. And this is something God had put in women. They have no choice, no control. They just become jealous. She cannot see another competitor. She cannot see another wife in her husband's life. Ibrahim alayhi salam was bothered with his wife's jealousy to the point that he complained to Allah. He had no one to turn to but Allah. So he complained to Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him that just be patient with her jealousy. I have created her jealous. Just be patient with her jealousy and things will work out in your favor. When Ismail was born, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not disappoint Sarah. A year later, she became pregnant with Isaac. Now, there are two brothers who belong to the same father but different mothers. They were growing up together. When Ismail was growing, he was infant. He was still probably 1 or 2 years old. And as the jealousy is increasing between Sarah and Hagar, Allah ordered him to take Hagar and Ismail to Mount Faran. Mount Faran is in Mecca. He was in Palestine. So he traveled all the way from Palestine toward the south till he settled near Mount Faran. There was no Kaaba. There was nothing at all. There was only a mountain. A black mountain standing so firm on that desert. He took his wife, his child. After 1 or 2 days, he was asked to go back. Now imagine if you're a father and you have a wife and child and you are leaving them in the heart of the desert. A very powerful force is forcing you to leave your wife and your child in the desert where there is no food, no water, no human beings. How do you feel about that?